Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Nick Gennusa, welcome back to ATV Talk. Before we get started, I just want to say that I think that you're a commodity that the ATV MX series is going to greatly miss. I hope that after our first conversation about being a promoter and being involved, I hope that you're rolling your next career into making ATV racing even bigger than it is. That being said, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to catching up and probably clearing a little bit of air with people on maybe what they think or misunderstand and help people get a better understanding where I'm at, where my life's at, and how I plan to stay involved and at least how I think the future is going to go. So,
Well, let's talk a little bit about who you are and what's going on. Who is Nick Gennusa and what's Nick Gennusa doing right now?
well, who is Nick Gennusa? I've raced a long time, not as long as Chad Weenan, but I've raced right over 20 years, and the last 11 were professional. And at 30 years old, just based on a ton of things going on in my own life and some chaos back home, and good problems to have, and a business that kind of took off at the same time in the last couple of years, and felt like I had my wings kind of really widespread and just self decision. It kind of was my time to take a step back, but not completely throw away what's given me everything, which is racing. Now, what I had felt, especially in the last year or so, uh, this was not an impulsive decision by any means. I've known this for quite some time, but as for those who don't know me and what I have back home, I have started a track back home called Facility 15, and we have a really good local clientele here. A lot of dirt bikes, hate to say it, but I love to say it at the same time. It is what keeps us in business. It's probably 95% dirt bikes here and 5% quads, just based off of what's around here. But long story short, it's keeping me extremely busy. It's taken off not effortlessly and not it's gotten what I put into it, and I put quite a bit into it. And what I had really noticed over the last year and a half, I had that injury. I broke my wrist, and that was a lot worse than people think, because I tore a bunch of stuff in my wrist and going down my arm, and that took me out for the few rounds. But when that took me out, I had already had the business started back home, and the track stuff I just kept exceptionally busy with. And I don't know how else to put it, but it almost became slowly more rewarding. You put a lot of effort in, you start to see the business build and money come in, and there's no secret that's where my time has been. And after you got your good months and your bad months, but after the last year and seeing where it's gone and the direction it's going, my own decision is just to let's fully focus on this. And what I've learned in life is, you really want to be good at something, one thing, you got to be all in. And I look back on my years in racing, and my best years in racing were, I don't know, from 21 years old to like 27 ish. Let's just say it's that 6 year range. But in those 6 years or 7 years, that's all I had going on in my life. I had nothing going on. You're living at home and living with your parents, kind of no bills, and you could just race, ride, train all the time, and like life's good. And I'm not saying for people to feel bad for me, not at all. No one should feel bad for me. Of just the position I put myself in now, and life happens, and a couple of things change. And as I moved out and got this land that I'm on now and started this track business, and that's taken off, I'd kind of be stupid not to run with it. And I do still, again, want to stay involved. in the sport. I just came back from France 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm likely to go back next year, maybe even Argentina again. And I think I'll just kind of pick and choose the bucket list events from here on out and maybe dip into a couple of nationals. I still got quite a few quads. I think people are nervous that I'm selling all my stuff, which is not the case. It's just how I am. I sell stuff and build new stuff. And I just finished up a brand new YFZ that I could line up with, you know, at any point. So keeping the RV, and I don't know what races I'm going to do next year. I got to see the schedule. I got to see what it looks like. Um, I'm still young enough to, if things really change and the sport made some crazy 180 like comeback, yeah, maybe not going to say never because you don't know where things lead, but stuff's been stuff's been good back home here at the track here, and we'll just this was where my life's been going right now. And uh like, my parents aren't the kind of people to tell me no, or like, hey, I think you should come out. My parents would let me race pro class till I'm 50 and not say a word. Like, hey, if you want to keep doing it, we support you doing it, but it's on me. But I just noticed the stress, and the the stress really only came from just being overcommitted. You're trying to be good at racing, trying to hold your name still. And, my results this year, whether it be from blame the injury or blame whatever, I didn't get a chance to train nearly as much. I'm still in shape, but my riding was probably, I don't want to say half, but probably half of what it was the year prior and years prior. And, you know, not because of laziness, just for the right reasons. My time has just been going to something else, and the track takes a lot of my time, uh, and it's all a good problem to have. So it's what it is. I can't be mad about it. I don't even know what I got this year in points. I know I hope I'm not remembered as this year, but people know that my good years were what they were and very consistent and always in that top 4 or 5 group forever. And just it's a big learning year for me in my own life, and just kind of kind of it in a nutshell. I know I just talked a lot, but curious to see what you got to say a little bit.
You got some I got some questions, and being's involved in business and life and everything that we all have to deal with stress, and I believe racing professionally is a high stress environment, whether it's making sure that everything's prepped and ready to go to sitting there on the line, because there's a risk,
Yeah.
and it's a high risk. You've paid a small price with your wrist. Your body may have paid a larger price that you won't know for many years. But the stress is the question that I want to ask about. Being a business owner, growing a business the way you are, that's stressful all on its own. And
Very
you
much.
add the stress of racing at that level to be prepared. Um, do you think that stress caused maybe some fatigue issues or some issues that physically you were struggling with and you didn't realize it?
Um, like, physically on the track, I mean,
Yes.
physically on the track, I would say this past year, other than, the bone in my wrist isn't what hurt. If we're going to talk about that for a second, it's the stuff I tore. Like, my hand doesn't even work the same. And maybe I downplay it a little bit, but it just completely different. Like, when I go, you could hear it just crack. Like, it's like ruined. Like, I probably do need another surgery. And the orthopedic said, if this is still bothering you a year from now, we'll look into it. And here it is, over a year from now. I can absolutely say it still bothers me. I think I did a lot more damage, and my hand doesn't work the same, and it's my right hand. So it's like my throttle, front brake. Uh, that is just, it's had its weekends where it's like, God damn, like, yeah, I feel it the whole time. Like, when I raced Ironman this year, I felt it the entire time. I just could not get over it. Coincidentally, where I broke it last year, just the track itself, I was just feeling it everywhere. And then certain rounds, maybe 1 or 2, I didn't feel it at all. Um, More of the fatigue was probably my own brain, honestly, from just uh, and that's just telling you what I really think. It's just stress, and it's a lot of stress for a young age. And I think a lot of us racers that are really like trying to make it or have done it for a pretty long time, that don't come from like extreme family backing or a crazy good supported team. I don't think they get enough credit. I think it's a lot more difficult than people think to do your own program and like everything. I think a lot of people in the online social media warriors don't realize it, and you can't listen to people that have never done it until you're doing it and you've done a bunch of years and you see what comes with it. It almost has nothing to do with the actual race itself. It's the program putting it together, it's the off season, it's the how you deal with the problems in between, and the saying, life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. So you have to really know how to react to problems. And race programs is not just buying your quad, doing the work and showing up and that's it and you're making money or not. It's an extreme amount of stress and time, and a lot of it does not feel rewarding. So when you're trying to make it, and if you're not doing well and you're having problems and you just drove 1,000 miles and you blew up this moto and you couldn't get it together and the whole weekend feels like a waste, you're the only one to blame. It's very difficult. Uh, it's a very difficult thing to do as a privateer, but you have to be very strategic. I feel like as a racer and as a business person now more than ever. I think with the sport where it's at, I mean, it's not anything new. It's just been where it's at. Um, there's definitely still money out there and money to get into your program, but you have to work very differently for it. It's not in factories anymore. I think you have to become a really good business person, but try to do your best depending upon the sponsor to really show a two-way streak of support. They're supporting you, but what are they getting back? And some companies don't care to get it back. It's just a write-off for them. Some companies look for, here's their investment and they want to see how they're getting their ROI on that. So um, it's it's crazy, man. Like the stress that's come. I know I kind of went off topic, but it's still also on the same topic of like the racing itself comes with so much, which is the stress. Then you do it with a business that completely relies on you. The two don't go together. It's one or the other. And I'm not willing to be half in my business and watch that at 50%. And I'm not going to watch myself another year in seventh, eighth, and ninth in pro class when that was never me. Um, just felt like I got to pick one, and you're going to be all in on the business and do a couple races when you want to and when you can. And I'm okay with that. It's where I'm at in my life. And I think just the hardest thing is dropping the ego and kind of accepting it. And like, this is where life's at. People would still kill to be in my shoes and have a track out your back door and just like, what do you got to complain about? Just did it for 11 years. People would die to do it for 1 year and travel that tour around the country. So it's that's what it is. I think it's just being okay with it internally and not like throwing the towel in, but it's just like accepting it, being appreciative of your time and where your life is at, and don't be sad that it's gone, be happy that it happened attitude. So it's kind of just how I sit with it.
That's the only way you can, and that's great. So I'm gonna shift gears on us a little bit and ask questions about 2026, but I want to go one direction and then come back if that's okay with you.
Yep.
Um, ATV-MX, you've brought it up a couple times. I think you are seeing the impact of the riders that are leaving in 2025. There's 5 and one's injured still that may not be back until either the end of 26 or maybe 27. Being that you were such a big part of this series for so long, what do you think that's going to do to the pro class?
I think it's coincidence that a bunch of us are out at the same time. I mean, we're all like scattered age-wise, years apart. You got Chad that's 40, Jeffrey's 32, I'm 30. I think you're talking about Wesley as one of them. Um, he's maybe 25 or 6. I don't really know how old he is now that I think about it. But I mean, it's coincidence that I think we all came out and everyone's got a whole different story outside of racing and everyone's got a different life, but there's always new blood. And I think it's just the wave of it right now. It looks like a couple people are stepping up, and I think a lot of people now that maybe are thinking about coming out that are on the edge are like, hey, here's 3, possibly 4 guys that were up there that are out. Like, this is my shot to have like a good year. It's like it's not 4 positions up, but it's depending upon where you are in the pack, you're getting handed, not handed respectfully, but you're getting handed 4 positions up that you've never had. Um, I think it's just the way it goes. You know, you have your eras in dirt bike racing when a lot of these guys are in it and the big names are in it for a long time, and just coincidentally they, one by one or however their career, you know, goes away. Um, I think it's just what it is. I don't really have an answer on I think you're going to see new blood come up, and uh, yeah, it's insane to think that we us 3 actually at the same time are, you know, coming out.
There's possibly 5 for sure, maybe a 6th. I'm not sure.
Are you allowed to say or no? Or you don't know?
Marshall Smith, Jaden Launderville.
Okay, and then Wolf maybe. Yeah.
From what I hear I don't hear it from the Wolf camp. I hear it from other people that know the Wolf camp and say he's done.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
I
got
know
a
him decent enough. Like, I mean, even if he was listening to this, I mean, him and I are pretty cool together. I mean, I won't be surprised to see it either way. You know, he's a tough kid. Nobody wants to go out like that. Nobody does. I know that. But it's kind of what I go back to, and nobody will remember. I mean, people will remember the accident, but everybody knows who even Wesley is. Even if he doesn't come back, it's like nobody's going to not respect him for it, and if he's got to do what's best in his life and go back to work and with their family business and the construction and make money, like everyone will respect him.
Yep.
And I'm sure maybe he wants to give it another year or so, but uh, I just think now, and I hope that it doesn't come off like too negative as a whole as like the sport. I think the days of like the Chad Wienans and the Joe Bird and the John Natale going till they're 40 years old, I think they're kind of over for the most part. And I think you're going to see a lot of guys. And I don't hope it. I just feel like it's going that way. My personal opinion. I think you're going to see a lot of guys come out late 20s or right around 30. And unless you have like a crazy funded team or like I said, the family backing to just keep going. Um, when the tally was going and Bird, they had really good factory support, and Wienan's had a hell of a career and he's been really smart to go that long. But I think you're going to see a lot of talent. I think you're going to see a lot more guys on the gate too. But I think it'll be almost kind of maybe similar to dirt bikes. You'll see these guys going into their late 20s, very early 30s, and then that's it. I just think the days of like the 40-year-old guys are, I could be wrong. I hope to be proved wrong. I think you're going to see people kind of throw the towel in earlier. It's very difficult to go that long. It's abuse on the body. It is.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that most of your older riders, when that you do see that skill set it takes to ride an ATV comes later in your career. So if you're really in tune with your machine from, let's say, I would say 25 up, that's when you're really starting to fine tune your skill set. And as you roll into your 30s, if you haven't been injured, you'll be able to go farther. But if you've had some
So
injuries or if it's just not in the cards, you may not be there.
I completely agree with that. Actually, like 100% spot on. I think just, again, not trying to persuade anyone the wrong way. I just think where the sport's at, I do feel like even now at 30 years old, like I do some things now and watch some videos of me. It's like I wasn't even doing that 5 years ago. I've picked up things and I've become an even better rider now. Your riding will get better, but as you get to that age and you get 30 and you might have a family going on or a job, and if the racing's not paying enough to, go right to the point, if it's not paying enough to be there, my thing is the guys won't go longer if the support's not as crazy. I hope it changes. I really do. I want to see the sport to continue, and I want to see the support come back because that's what's going to keep the guys in it. Unless you got a ton of family money to keep going, you can go till you're 40. But I would love to see it flip flop, and you just don't know. Who knows? I hope to see it.
Well, we get another sport quad out there. We get some better coverage, better promotions. That's why I brought it up in the beginning about you being a promoter. We know that you promote the Turkey Derby, and that's pretty amazing event from everything that I've seen.
Oh yeah.
You get guys like you promoting ATV motocross because other than the Deckers and Jeremy Osborne, I'm not a huge fan of anybody promoting races.
I agree. Now I'm not in like what Jeremy Osborne does. I have a ton of respect for. What Deckers do, I have a ton of respect for. None of us are competing with each other at all. I think we all do kind of totally different things. Mine's probably the most different. Mine's probably more dirt bike based. My track, and not by choice. It's what the clientele is, where I'm at, and kind of just what I have to roll with here to stay open. Um, but I really enjoy the track side of stuff. I enjoy all parts of racing, even outside of it. I enjoy track building. I enjoy talking, as you could tell. I even told.
Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, SCORE, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs.
A couple of the people at Briarcliff that I'd be interested to do the commentating at Daytona this year. Maybe go down and commentate the pro races that day for the main event and hop in the booth with whoever's there. And I definitely know all the riders, so I'd be able to, I know the names, which is important, and I could definitely feel like I could speak pretty well in the event if I had to. And I think I'd enjoy that, maybe be a good change up, but we'll see if it happens or not.
Well, I hope it does. Speaking of 2026 and the future for Nick Gennusa, what do you think we're going to see? I mean, I know it's difficult to give us a locked in plan, but what do you think's going to be out there for you?
Well, first I would say I got to see the national schedule that comes out. I'm not going to commit to a certain amount of rounds. I think knowing me, it's going to be very spontaneous, and it's going to be something that I'll know maybe 4 or 5 weeks out. before I actually do one of the events, and it's for depending upon what I have going on at home here, and if I can make it. And I'll tell you what, if I plan on going to an event and the weather is crazy that weekend and it's pouring, and if I don't have to race in 2 inches of rain that weekend, I probably won't. So if the weather is good, then I'll be like, all right, we're still going, but it'll probably be um, spontaneous. I'd like to do one or two nationals, AMA. Um,
Any
I'd like what's that cross country?
cross country stuff?
Well, I'm more likely to do one now, so more than ever. Um, I feel like I'd like to do it on somebody else's quad first. I mean, I can't justify building an entire one for that yet. I mean, maybe it's not as complicated as I seem or as it seems. Um, and I have the machines to do it where I could spare one and swap a bunch of stuff off the one, but I would like to do one. And again, where I'm still young enough where I could still be, I'm not underestimating the GNCC. I think that's probably ridiculously hard. Um, I will go in with high hopes, but my expectations low. I respect those guys a lot and what they do. I've never done one. I'm not scared to try. It's just never been at a convenient time for me to do one. Um, you might. I don't know. I mean, I didn't know I was going to France until 6 weeks before that event. So I'm the kind of guy where if it pops up and it makes sense and the timing's right, I sometimes do well with spontaneous races and decisions like that, and I'm not against it. So the answer is yes if it comes together, but I don't know. Maybe
Uh,
go back to France. I'm going to continue all my stuff here. Maybe add a second pit bike event. I don't know yet. Um, well, you got me thinking. Maybe I should kind of know a little bit more on what my idea is, but kind of just how I've always been.
well, you know what? I've been winging it a long time, and it works out for the
So
most
yeah.
part. For the most
Well,
part. Um, so some of your personal goals, have you left any on the table
Um, within racing,
in life, everywhere? I'm
well, life.
so let me clarify that. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm asking about your life and your racing at the same time. So your life goals, you're still reaching some of them, but in racing, I'm sure that there's still more things that you want to do, maybe something you didn't get done, just to clarify for you.
Yeah, I think. I mean, life. Knock on wood. I'm hoping there's a lot of time to still, hear and still click off those other life goals, and business gets to this point, have a family one day, and do X, Y, and Z. That's life. The racing. Um, yeah, maybe there was a couple things left on the table. I mean, I did pro class so long, and obviously, I would have really liked to win a championship like everyone. I mean, if you're not out there wanting to win, why are you even out there? But um, man, I there's no other words to put it. I just feel like we raced in a ridiculously difficult era of two people winning for the last 13 or 14 years, Chad or Joel, with just both of them with extreme dominance. Um, and hats off to them. They are who they are. They're just so much better than people think they are and give them credit for. Um, yeah, of course, I would have liked it. Well, not even that. I mean, I would have liked to top three in a championship. And as I don't want to say as simple as that sounds, that's even a lot harder than it looks. You got to have a lot of things go right. And it just felt like it got harder as I got older because I just took on more things in life outside of it to make it and try to establish myself. And um, the more things I took on outside in life, again, for the right reasons to have stuff to do later in life and when I'm done racing. So the more invested I got into my track and the more time I started to build this business, I think my results started to go slowly down. But I mean, the position I'm in now back home, I can't regret it at all, and it's, yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I think it's just what it is, and it's just the way life goes. And if that's the way it went, I still feel like I opened up uh, arguably a lot more doors with what I have going on here, and that's kind of why I've leaned towards this direction. And yeah, of course, I would have liked the championship or a top three in points. Well, now that I think about it, I was thinking about this the other day. Something I really would have liked to do and was always ready for it, and still would do it to whoever's listening this. I would still, even if they asked me, and I would train my ass off for it and do whatever it took and figured out, I would do a Team USA race all day. I feel like um, I'm not like a little bit, I mean, you could take it as I'm sour about it. I just think it's been the same three for so long, and there are so many talented riders that could have went and still got the job done. I don't care who's going to argue me on that. There is talented freaking riders in that class that could have went. People can come after me on this and post about it. Let them. I'm telling you, we could, like, there's young blood that's really good still. Like, I just did a race with Mason Jackson in France, and we kicked ass. And we just raced all the European guys too, and we did. Damn, we were in second for a majority of it, and then we had our issues at the end. But we weren't even on our quads. Nothing. We just showed up and rode other people's stuff. And again, I would do it in a heartbeat. I still would, and I probably would do it. Hopefully, they don't ask me when I'm 40, but even if they ask me in the next couple of years, I hope someone's listening enough to do it, because I would do anything. And again, I've done so many more races than people think. I've raced Dominican Republic twice. I've raced Costa Rica twice. I raced Argentina once, the Enduro del Verano, the biggest quad race in the world, to my understanding. 430 people in that race. I got fourth in it in 2020, riding somebody else's quad. Raced Canada twice. I just raced France. I've done a lot of out of country stuff. So I think what I'm getting at is whatever is thrown at me, I could be ready for it. And I'm not just, I don't only just know ATV Motocross USA. I can do that kind of event. And I just feel like they never gave me the chance, honestly. And even like Brandon Hogue too, like he should have went. Him and I were not like crazy close, but he should have went to that. How come he didn't go? He's a great rider. And the problem I see with that event now is they've sent the same three for so long, right? So who does that help? It helps all the other countries, because now your bar is set so high, and now they know. So eventually, if the three go, it's not going to be easy for us. Or let's say it's, even if it's not me, it's not going to be easy, because it's their first time event, and the Europeans just raced us for 10 years, and they know what that's all about. Now you're going to finally switch out to three, and you've held everybody back for so long, where it's going to be difficult. But if they asked me, I still would go. I'd still train my ass off. I'd still have a top tier quad over there, and I wouldn't disappoint. So hopefully somebody thinks about it, and not just saying replace me with someone on there, but I'm always open to it. That's the stuff I like.
That's what I like to hear. I didn't know about some of the other races. That was also in my questioning. I'm glad that you just put it out there, because we would have got to it, but you've answered most of my questions ahead of time. But I'm going to get you on this one, and it's super simple. It's about mentoring.
Yep.
Mentoring the youth. I know you get to work with people at your track, but as far as young ATV motocross people, where do you stand with schools, and where are you at with mentoring young riders?
I've drastically picked up my teaching back home, um, with not a crazy amount of ATV. Well, I still, like, I've trained more kids than I ever have in my life. Like, I probably have 4 to 5 lessons a week. I taught a guy today. I teach actually a lot of dirt bike riding that nobody even knows. I teach probably 2 to 3 lessons a week, mostly kids. But I taught a guy today that was 39 on a dirt bike. And I don't do like pro lessons on dirt bikes. I'm not going to rub anybody the wrong way that I'm a pro dirt bike rider, but I definitely can teach kids how to ride a bike, the rights and wrongs, the how to, learn how to shift, clutch, everything. I teach a lot of mini quads too, and I do a lot of one-on-one training with quads. Um, I've seemed to do more of the one-on-one training back home. The class stuff I like yeah, you it's a good money day, but it's not a I see more benefit to the rider that's with me on a one-on-one. It's just me and that person. And again, to answer your question, the mentoring and the teaching, I do quite a bit of it now, and I plan to do that for a very long time. Of just the teaching and the riding schools, and I've taught riding schools actually in a lot of different places. Even when I went to Dominican Republic, one of the years I taught there, one of the years I taught in Costa Rica, um, and that was actually quite difficult with the different languages and Spanish and English, but we figured it out. But I teach a lot, and I really enjoy it, and I feel like I have a really good way of explaining things to kids and adults, and um, I think that's just it. I love it, and I plan to teach for a long time. It's just insanely picked up the teaching on a local base here of just kids on ATVs, but mostly dirt bikes. But I enjoy it. I'm gonna keep
That
doing that for a while.
that's good. I hope you do. We need people like you out there teaching, whether it's ATV or motorcycle, because I know you got mad skills, but not everybody else out there does. And if you could pass that on to these kids, it's only going to make our sports grow better, and that's what we want. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your legacy and what you want people to remember you most for.
Um, Definitely somebody that, if we're talking about on the track riding first, definitely somebody that was always a contender, consistent. I won't be known for good hole shots, which is the funny part. I can make fun of myself on that, but you know, if I was a bad hole shot person my whole career, it taught me one thing. It taught me how to pass, and I know people know that I can come through a pack, and I've done a lot of crazy races where I've just made some insane passes the entire time and went from 15th to third or whatever it is. Or I did a crazy race in Pro Am years ago where I went from last to first, and just always a hard charger that knew how to get through the pack. And the consistency was always there for a really, really, really long time. Um, you know, people won't forget that, and that'll probably be with me for hopefully a long time. I mean, I feel like when I just did Ponte Vo, I feel like I had to have passed 1,000 people in that however many hours I rode. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done. But um, off the track, I think what they're gonna remember me as, I can't say. I don't know. I think you can't control what people say or think about you. You can only control your actions, and my actions are, they're kind of they're done at that point. The 9, 10, 11 years have been passed, so all my things along the way, that's all they'll remember me as, and talk. That's how they'll talk of me. So, uh, not entirely over. I'm like I said, I'm still going to bounce in and out of races and have fun. I think just the quad world is not used to people being like a foot in the door, but like not fully in. And I know that people will say you're in or you're out, and I agree with that. But I do disagree slightly because you really enjoy something. Like I didn't want to leave racing with a sour taste, but I really enjoy racing, and I know that how much happiness it's given me since I was like 2. But if you're really loving it, man, look at some of these dirt bike guys. Like Dean Wilson, I think's older than me by a couple of years, and he might not line up for 17 Supercross races, but he's racing in Canada, or he'll do a few races in Europe when things pop up, and he filled in one or two supercross races this year, and like, excuse me, a lot of those guys bounce in and out of stuff and just thoroughly ride and just enjoy the sport. And it's it's okay. They're still staying relevant. They still got their fan base, and they're doing what's best for them in their life and their situations. And maybe they can't get to all 17 Supercross rounds or the 10 outdoor nationals, or maybe on the quad side, that person can't get to all 10 nationals very easy, but maybe they'll do these 3 odd events. And I think people should, not saying they have to respect it, but be happy the person's still even involved a little bit.
Right. I hope you stay involved. I want you to become a promoter because I think anybody that can take a race like you have and turn it into the event that you have now, you could promote ATV Pro Motocross and make it
I'd
big.
love to have you there one year, maybe even this year. You're
Wow. We're
freaking
trying to
amazing.
work on, we're trying to work on travel. It's just not, it's just not as easy
It's a
as
tough weekend. Yeah.
um, what is your favorite race memory?
Uh, that's going to be a tough one. Maybe I'll have to ask, maybe make a tiny bit more specific. Like there's too many. I don't want to sound corny with it. There's too many to really pick one. It's,
Then just give me a couple.
um, you'll never forget like your first pro podium for sure. Um, I did that in Redbud in 2019, which is a really cool track to do it on. A lot of the good memories were even before pro class too. Like when I was in pro am, I had that one crazy race that kind of I felt like put me on the map in 2015, where it was Muddy Creek, and I had that crash in the first turn and I won the first moto, and then I went from last to first, and like gotten first on the white flag in the last lap, like insane. And I think I just picked up so much momentum from that. And um, there's so many good years traveling with my dad too. Just the funny stuff, and even like racing aside, like I hate driving. I hate driving far, but some of the memories with your dad and your mom were they're priceless. So that my Argentina race I did in 2020. It's like the coolest experience in my life of like a riding trip. I was there for a month, and there's nothing on the planet like that event. Um, like 50 or 100,000 people and spectating just 10-mile course in the desert, and they're just surrounded the entire way with people. I've never seen anything like it. Helicopters following you. That it's like I would love to go back, but even if I never did, I I can't even be mad. I was lucky enough to do it. And again, just be happy it happened. As recent as a month ago, like that France one I just did, I'll never forget that. Whether I go back 5 more times or I never go back again, that was like just top tier. I don't know. I'm not gonna say not a lot excites me anymore, but I've never left a race like so obsessed with like how much fun I had, and that was the most recent one I did. I'm sure if I really thought about it, I could rattle off an hour and talk for 2 hours on it, but it's all positive. The answer is there is too many. It's all positive stuff. Just it never ends, you know.
PDV for me was probably one of the coolest experiences ever.
Yeah.
Uh, Passing 101,
Oh my God.
passing the inside, you pass on the outside, you pass down the straightaway, pass over the jump. I mean, you pass in places that you never thought you could pass.
Yeah, that race in specific, like I'm like an over analyzer, and I think about a lot of stuff, and maybe it's something that's wrong with me, but like I put a lot of thought. Yeah, I'm definitely an overthinker too, but I've used it to my advantage in certain things in life. Sometimes it hurts you, but um, that race, when I was flying home, and even like weeks after, I'm thinking about it, and obviously, like I can't stop talking about how much fun I had, but it fit me like Nick Gennusa
Are you ready to be captivated by one of nature's masterpieces? Discover the breathtaking beauty of Antelope Slot Canyon, a natural wonder in Page, Arizona. Join us on a guided tour and immerse yourself in the mystical light beams, rich colors, and serene landscapes. With tours at prime sunbeam hours, experience photographer's paradise and capture memories that will last a lifetime. Comfortable shoes, a camera, and a smile are all you need for this adventure. Book your journey today at Antelope Slot Canyon Tours and let the canyon enchant you. Please visit us now, antelopeslotcanyon.com, for more details.
Unexpectedly so well, that event, for where my strengths and weaknesses were at. So within reason, the whole shot there doesn't really matter. It does, but it doesn't. Um, which is great for me. Like, you have to be fast. You have to, which I know I can ride fast. You have to be fast. You have to be, you have to have really good fitness to go a long time, which I was kind of questioning, and I did even better than I thought. I rode 5.5 of the 12 hours, and you've got to be good at passing. And those are like my three things. The start didn't matter. I can go fast. I can go for a long time, and I can freaking pass people. And it was just like a giant practice session where it was like, it's almost like I was able to ride at like a calmer pace, like not like when I line up on the gate here in USA. You're on a pro gate, like revving up 30-second card, and you're like kind of your nerves and your heart rate's going. It was like I was in a giant practice session, and I was just able to relax and just like so in the zone. It was like the craziest like feeling I've never experienced. And I was flying. Like, I had the fastest lap of the entire race. Um, and there's 300 something riders, 100 teams, 300 something riders, going for 12 hours. That's like thousands of laps. And yeah, I mean, I am proud that I did it. I wasn't even trying. Not that I wasn't trying. I didn't even know I got it until I got it, but I was flying it. But that's how comfortable I was at that. You're just passing people, and I know that I can pass really well and see things before the people even see it in front of me. They'll never even see it coming, and they're like, I've found a way around them before they can even think. And a lot of the guys came up to me afterwards, and they were like, they couldn't even believe some of the moves that even I would pass them and then pass one or two guys in front of them, and they were mind blown by it. And I did that at nighttime too, at like 11 o'clock at night with the lights on, which is crazy. I don't know how, but I'm definitely a night owl too, and it suit me so well. I honestly, Leonard, I think I arguably, again, thinking about it a lot, I actually think I was better at that race than I am at the AMA here. I swear to God. I don't know what it was. It was just that style fit me so well for just where my strengths are at as an athlete.
I
I don't know.
I
Just my, I thought about this a lot. It fit me so well.
I am rejoicing in everything you say because this is an event that I remember things about it and always will. And it's incredible. It's just incredible. I mean, I wrote it in 2004 and five, I believe it was. And man, just
Yeah.
the excitement never goes away. I mean, the two greatest
Yeah.
things I've ever written in my life, Vegas to Reno and Rendezvous. And no, I got second in Vegas to Reno once. I never even came close to a podium in Rendezvous, but the best that my team ever did is we ran ninth for a while. Um,
Right. Right.
that's still an accomplishment
Oh
when
my God. Yeah. Yeah.
100
It,
teams. but still, it's just everybody that thinks they know how cool racing is, you got to go do that, because after you do that, I mean, you will be mesmerized by it and think about it for the rest of your life.
It was just such a cool format. And yeah, a lot of people talk about the French and, they got their tactics. We always hear that. And yeah, they kind of did in ways too. But, you know, uh, it kind of reminded me of like a NASCAR race a little bit. And I used to follow NASCAR a lot, and like not so much. I was kind of like when Dale Earnhardt Sr. died, I was kind of a little bit too young to really pay attention to NASCAR. Jeff Gordon was always my guy, so I watched a lot of that era. And then when he kind of went away, Jimmy Johnson, that era, long time ago. But I haven't really watched it since, but it reminded me so much of it in a way, parts of it.
Right.
And it was just so freaking cool. And it was no walk in the park either. We had Chad Weenan there this year. Harry Walker is the European champion. Him and I had a good battle in the first. Like I think I'd found him at like the first hour and a half in. It took me an hour and a half to catch up to him, and then I passed him. Not easily. I mean, I got around him, but I worked for it, and I eventually caught him, passed him, and he's no slouch. Talk about the GNCC team: Walker Fowler, Cole Richardson, Brandon Gross. They all went. Strong freaking team right there. Like those three are insane in itself. Phoenix had their team. There's a lot of USA people there, and they said it was like the most USA people in how many years, and just blessed to be a part of it. Honestly, I hope I go back, but we'll see.
I hope you do too, because once is never enough.
No.
What is the funniest mishap you've ever had during racing?
The funniest mishap, like during a race?
During a race, prepping for a race in the pits?
Oh man. Well, I'll give you two different ones. All right, well, goofy. I think it was like 2010. I was in the 300EX class. I don't know. I think it's the only time in my career where I've ever pulled off on white flag and thought it was checkered. And I wasn't even in first. Like maybe I was in fourth and the guys were far ahead and nobody was behind me. So I know I made that mistake as a kid. Funny, yeah, we can laugh about it now. Let's talk about 4 weeks ago when I was in France, when we went to go back on the track, and this is what cost us a lot of time when we were in second. Mason Jackson came off. He started in the day and it goes into the night. And when you enter the night shift, you have to have all these like reflectors on, whatever, on your helmet, got to have the brake lights, whatever. It's a safety thing. I get it. And I didn't have it wasn't so funny at the time, but we're laughing about it now. We laughed about it after the race, but I didn't have the arm reflectors on, which is basically like a band that's a reflector that's got to go around basically your biceps. So the guy behind you when your arms are up can see your arm. I didn't have it. So I get to the guy a month ago here in France. And when I say get to the guy, this is the middle of the race. So you go down pit road, you're going, 10 miles an hour, whatever it is. And before they let you back on the track and you just re-enter the race wherever it's at, the guy's standing at the end with the flag, as you know, and he lets you back on. Now, we're in second. Actually, I think we were in first at this point because the number one team, they like pitted, but we were right behind them. And we were in first or second. I think we were in first. This guy, he's just like points. He's like, get off. Like, I don't even know what he was saying. He's like screaming at me. I'm yelling at him. He's yelling at me, but I don't even know what he's saying because he's speaking in French. And I'm like, this is just, I feel like we're being attacked here, like a setup of we're literally leading this race right now. I can't understand this guy. He's pointing me off the track and he pointed me like, no, no, no. And I'm screaming at the guy and for like 30 seconds, we're back and forth. The next guy behind me is like, Revan, get out of the way. And I look at him and then he points to the guy's arms, the reflector. And like, I can't even process this. Like, this guy's not letting me back on the track because I don't have something that's like 1 inch around my bicep while we're in first in this freaking, we're 7 or 8 hours into this 12-hour race. And I zoomed back to the pits. It just stress, chaos, whatever. And zoomed back to the pits on the rev limiter. So I got the team's attention. They're yelling, like, what the hell are you doing back here? You're supposed to be on the track. And I need the armband, whatever. And they're freaking out. They run, grab it, put it on. Bottom line, big mishap. I didn't know. Nobody told me this. My team, apparently somebody knew, but it was a huge mistake. But it cost us like almost 10 minutes at Ponte Vaux. And that's where I'm saying we should have been second in that event, where we got really screwed. But screwed, no one did it. I mean, we did it to ourselves. But after we got the podium, we were all laughing about it. Like, God damn, like, this is literally what caused us an insane amount of time and stress. And we can laugh about it now. So that pops out to me recently.
Right on. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions and then I'm going to let you go for the night.
Yeah.
So this is a double question. You can answer both of them at the same time. What do you miss most and what don't you miss most about racing?
Wow. What do I miss the most? Yeah, the feeling you can't get anywhere. And I well understand that. Like when you have a good race and you get your good whole shot and you're on the track and you put a good race together and make good passes and you top 3 a pro moto, like there's really no amount of money in the world that'll like give you that. It's just you no matter what you do, you can't touch that. And that's why a lot of people in their lives that are older, I feel, come back because they're still missing and trying to find that rush, which I've paid attention to quite a bit of what the older crowd says, but I at least acknowledge it and know that. So again, you kind of have to accept it that it could still be there at times, but that rush, man, is nothing like it. The rush when it's going good, when your race is good, you finish a good moto, you're on a podium, like that high in itself is untouchable. Even in ATV racing, is as small as it is compared to dirt bikes, it's still, you're on top of the world. It's the coolest thing. You're not going to beat that. Relationships with the friends there that you make over time, just unbelievable. Like it's going to be hard, and maybe I'll have more to say what I'll miss in like a year, because maybe I'll realize more things that I miss. But what I'm not going to miss, I really don't miss the far drives at all. I've done them so many times. I've been going races since I was 8, 9, going to nationals with my dad. Very appreciative to do it. And he drove me around for how many years, and then I took over at one point, but he drove me around mostly. But I do not like far drives. They just wipe me out. I have a hard time sitting still for 15, 18 hours to some of these races. That just some of the stress, work your ass off sometimes, and a bad race happens, or this, everything was good, but you messed up because you got a bad start, or you messed up because you just got a little bit unlucky, or the weekend just went bad because you blew up, but all the cards were in the right spots and you blew up. Like, just that, like, feeling internally sometimes, and some of the stuff that goes with it, you don't miss that, but it's part of it. That's life, it's part of the sport, and I don't regret it at all. Like, that was my college. It was like, racing itself is like, it teaches you so much, and it's the first thing that can humble you. Like, if you get what you put into it, and if you're not, if you put like 50% in, you're going to get 50% back. Racing is the number one thing like sport, I feel like you can do that will always show you that what you put in is what you get back, always. And that's why I feel like anyone that sticks in it long enough, and even the kids that might be listening this far into this, and hopefully they are, um, it is a fantastic thing because this teaches you a lot of work ethic, the sport. And I feel like anyone that's stuck in it long enough, whatever you do in life after this, um, not effortlessly, but you will very likely to be successful at it if you even carry half of the work ethic that you got from racing, the self discipline, and you bring it to your next thing in life, you'll very likely be successful at that. I feel it teaches you a lot, the sport. It's business, it's ups and downs, it's humbling, the highs and lows, and it's right in front of you in your face very quick. It's cool.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social media?
Well, definitely the Instagram. I'm pretty much on all social media platforms. If you find or just type in my name on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok has been like a big thing recently. I post here and there on it and have some pretty cool videos. YouTube, or even or track Instagram, which people should check out because I'm almost posting on that more now because that's my next thing is facility, then the number 15 NJ. That'll pop up on Instagram or facility15nj.com. And that's our website. But that's my next venture. That's what we're doing. And yeah, again, can't say what races I'm doing because I don't really know yet. I got to see the schedules, and we're in September now, so I'll be doing some. I just don't know yet which ones.
That's great.
Thank you.
Hey, make sure you do me a favor. Reach out to me before the Derby, so that we can do a show on it, talk about it, see what's up for the new season and the new race. We can do another live Instagram, or we can come on here and do a show this way, whatever works best for you. Probably an Instagram live, as close to the race as we can.
It's 9 weeks, November 29th. It's scary, 9 weeks-ish away, so it comes quick.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a busy guy.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is. I enjoy it.
Nick, I want to say this. I haven't got to follow your career as long as I would like to have, but you're a pleasure. I think that the way you speak, the way you do things, your professionalism is a beacon of light in this industry. And I hope that you pass it on to as many riders as you possibly can, because we need more men like you developing our sport.
Thank you. It's a really nice compliment. And I do plan and hope to stay around this for quite some time. And whether I be a voice or a promoter or whatever it is, this is the sport that's given me everything and taught me everything. And every bit of knowledge and relationship I have in my life came from this. So, you're talking to somebody that was just built from this sport and built myself all from this. So I love it, man. This is what I do, and I'd be stupid to completely throw it away. But I have to do what's best in my life right now. But I still want to figure out my ways to stay involved, and I'm open to any opportunities. Even like we talked before the call, doing different events and a little bit of everything, and that's the stuff I want to keep doing.
Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show.